Impromptu speaking. All right, impromptu speaking, Isabella, as you know, where you get 1 minute to think, 2 minutes to speak.
I've often thought about this, and I thought, what really is the point of seeking happiness if not just to have a memory of being happy for a little bit? Because if you're gonna, I think most people think the point of life is, to find happiness, to be able to live a happy life, do whatever makes you happy. But really, what's the point of happiness? Because you're really just going to feel happy in the moment. You're going to feel happy for a couple of seconds, a couple of minutes, maybe a couple of hours. But when that passes, we're obviously inevitably going to suffer again. So if happiness is so temporary, why do we still seek it? And I think the only reason why we still do is because we cherish the memories of this happiness so much. And I think the only thing keeping us looking for happiness is because by the time we're on our deathbed, by the time, we know we're gonna die, I think like what's the point of living and what's the point of looking for all this happiness all throughout life if not just to have a set of memories to look back on? And I think the memory of having like, a couple of happy moments can bring you much more long-lasting happiness than the short-term memory or the short-term happiness that you experience in the moment. And I think that's probably what's most important about, trying to create these memories, trying to go out with your friends, do things that will make you happy, that'll make you, feel pleasant in the moment, is probably just so you can have these memories that you can look back on. Because after the moment passes, you won't feel happy anymore. But if you can reflect on these memories or these moments, the memories of these moments that made you happy, this happiness can extend so much longer. So I think if this weren't the case, like if we didn't live life to, create a set of happy memories, I think doesn't that just mean everyone would do what's best for the world? Wouldn't we just like work endlessly and endlessly and endlessly to make sure we're doing the best thing for the planet and not the best thing for ourselves? Because I think really at the end of the day, the best thing we can do for ourselves is to create a really happy set of memories for ourselves to look back on, which can extend our happiness long after the moment.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Full of insight. Yeah, so memories in a sense, like when we build memories with our family, like when we go to the cottage or go on a vacation, we're building memory. And so that we know that our grandchild or our daughter is going to hang on to that memory and they're going to have a piece of us after we're gone. So this kind of like memories, on one hand, they say when people live with their thoughts in the past, that's in the realm of memories. That's where you get depressed, when you're living in the past. And they say people who live in their thoughts in the future, that's where anxiety resides. And happiness is by putting your thoughts in the present moment, right? The only time space that you can control, right? But at the same time, memories are super important, as you said, right? Because the memories are the only way we can hang on to the people that we lose or the things that we cherish that we no longer have, like our old dog and stuff like that. If were it not for those memories, what would be left of all those things that we once loved?
Yeah, and I think if we didn't have memories of everything that made us happy, I think it would really be such a sad world if we're happy for an instant and then right after that, we don't feel happy anymore. I don't think that is true happiness if we can't recall what made us happy.
But I want to say also memories, I think, are also a little bit, I don't know, they play tricks on your mind because we tend to remember things. One thing I've noticed, we tend to filter out bad memories. And when we look back on the past and our childhood, and that's why they have this feeling called nostalgia, right? Most people, they filter out the bad memories and remember only the good things. And I wonder if this is true across the board. But if something is in our nature, then we have to try to understand why it's in our nature. In what way does it serve us?
I feel like, I don't know if this is true, but maybe the majority of your life are bad memories. And like, if I spend about 8 hours a day, at school or doing homework and stuff like that, that's probably not going to end up in my set of memories when I'm, very old and looking back on my childhood. And I think if this is the majority of your life, you're probably just going to forget that, right? You might remember the test mark that you got after you studied for so long, but you won't remember everything you studied. And I think it's really the things that made you feel something. And usually, you know, when you feel something, you'll probably feel happiness because that'll really stick with you. And I think that's probably, you're not
So,
intentionally filtering
so
it
you're
out.
saying
It's
maybe it's
just,
not the nature of humans, maybe it's the nature of memories, that the memories themselves
maybe.
don't stand out unless they're good ones, or unless they're outstanding, right? Well, I'm sure we also remember the most critical, terrible moments as well, right? By
Yeah,
that theory.
of course.